Loves. So I had the most incredible experience last night, and I just really want to share it with somebody here. I had no plans obviously to go live, but something really amazing happened, and I just want to share that experience and let you all in on kind of like what it's like to be me, or what it's like to be a psychic, or what it's like to be like trained in these gifts and the kinds of things that can happen for you. So what happened last night was I work with Archangel Michael a lot, okay? I work with him all the time. I actually remember being a kid and calling on him even then, like when I would have a nightmare, when I would be afraid, I would just naturally call on this archangel. And so just for reference sake, just in case anyone here is not familiar, Archangel Michael is a divine masculine protective angel. So most people see him as this, like a man with wings, right? Like in the typical angel look. A lot of the times people see him with a sword and a shield, like maybe light weapons. And he is this divine masculine, and he is a protector. So that's just like if you Google that, like that's the typical info, right? But this is somebody that I have just worked with so like intuitively, like so instinctually, just so naturally, and I don't even know why. Like it's just someone that is personally on my spirit team, and I have found that he's on a lot of people's spirit teams, and it's someone that I just feel so comfortable with and so safe with. And so anytime anything feels uncertain, or anytime I need to vet a new person, like if I go and get like an energy healing done, the first thing I do is call in Archangel Michael, because he acts like this super protective filter, so that only that which is for your highest good can even connect with you. So he will literally filter situations for you. So of course I use him for every single session. Now he's not the only archangel I work with, but he's the first one I started working with. So just to say that I have this like really long relationship with him. I remember being a little girl and calling on him. So let's get to the experience. So something really interesting happened last night, and hello to everybody joining. So I called in Archangel Michael to my bedside as I was falling asleep last night. I do that a lot. When you are falling asleep, you're pretty vulnerable. And I know that me as the soul goes traveling a lot at night. So I have a lot of missions that I go and do at nighttime. So I like him to kind of like be in two places at once, which he can do because he's multidimensional, like escort my soul where I'm going, but also like stay behind and watch over my body and make sure that my body is okay as well. And that's something that he can do. You can ask him to do that for you at any time. So here's what happened last night. So last night I call him in, and I wasn't really planning on astral traveling, but you never know what you're going to do at night. Like the soul has plans, let me tell you. Like you're probably going on missions so much more often than you think. So I call him into my left-hand side. So he comes up against me on the left, and I'm laying there enjoying his presence. And I feel him as like a pressure in my left ear, like something leaning against my aura. Like it's very real for me. Like because I've trained so much in my clairsentience, I can feel him in the room with me. So then I decided, like, I don't know why I did this, but I'm so glad that I did. I decided I was going to ask him a couple of questions. I was like thinking about how everybody sees him. I was thinking about how they see him as this man, right? Like they see him as this humanoid man with wings. And I'm like, Archangel Michael, what do you really look like? Because I just feel like that's not true. Like, I think that as humans, we do that to make ourselves more comfortable, but like there's no, like I really just don't think that that's probably your true form. So can you tell me, or can you share with me, what do you really look like? And he said, I am light. I am just light, and light can take on many forms. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then he showed me himself being like different forms of light. So he showed me him being like a bubble of shield of protection for me. And then he showed himself being like this spear or this sharp thing to cut away, or to like, cause he can do a lot of cord cutting. He does a lot of protection stuff. So like more like an offensive. So he can be offensive, he can be defensive. But when he was showing me what he really looked like, and when he said, I am light, it didn't look humanoid, right? It just looked like light, just moving light. And then I said, oh, somebody in the comments just said, I believe he is light. Marinara sauce. That's a cool handle too. Yeah, so that's what he said. And so then I said, okay, well, what color are you? Because like everyone sees you as blue. Even myself, like I'm always like he works with blue light, or he is blue light, I guess. And I'm like, what color are you really? Are you actually blue? And what he explained to me was so cool. He said humans can only perceive of so many colors. And so they categorize like millions of colors under one color. And dogs do this. So if you know anything about dogs, I just got a new puppy, so I've been researching a lot about dogs. Dogs can only see like 2 or 3 colors. So if you put down like orange and a blue ball, they both look blue or something, like that might not be exact, but I'm just saying that as an example. Like if you put down 2 colored balls, they'll see them as the same color because they can only perceive of 2 or 3 colors. So red is blue and this is blue. All these things are blue, but to your eyes, they're all these different colors. So it's just like that. So he said, everyone sees me as blue light because you cannot in your human form, but outside of our human form we can, but in our human forms, we cannot see the true colors that he inhabits. And he says millions of colors and you say blue. And it's like so funny. And I don't just mean shades of blue. Right? Of course, we can see multi shades of blue. I mean, he is the colors that we can't even perceive. We don't have a word for it. We don't have names for it. A lot of people are saying here violet and blue and all of these things. Those we can see. He's saying he is all of these colors that we cannot see. Right? So it's like, okay, well, we see blue because that's how our brains read the colors that he is sending off, but it's more than that. Okay. And then it keeps going. So I was like, wow, okay. So I was kind of blown away by that just because I know that humans can only perceive of like a small percentage of what's really going on around us. We know that, right? We can only see a small percentage, hear a small percentage. This world, this simulation and the astral realms and the dimensions, there's so much more to them than we can perceive. And that is why I am so grateful to have my clairs online, because I rely so heavily on my clairs. Just to even be able to have this conversation with him. I'm using clairsentience where I can feel him there, clairaudience where I'm listening to what he's saying, clairvoyance where I'm watching the vision. He literally is sending me visions to help me to understand what he is saying. Like those clairs are priceless. Because you can have conversations with these higher dimensional beings all the way up to the highest angels, and really understand what's going on around you and really understand how this universe works, like microcosm to macrocosm, understanding your own life and also understanding these huge concepts. So it doesn't end there. So then I said to him, okay, so that's what you look like. You are light. You are millions of colors of light. We see you as blue. That's cool, but I understand what you're saying. And then I said, what do you sound like? Like, what does it sound like to be you? And he let me hear it, but it was layers of sounds. And the very bottom layer was this like bass hum. It was like, hum, but it was very comforting resonance. And then above that was like this, whoop, 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 and it sounded like wings flapping. And then the layer of sound above that was like a heartbeat. And then there was like a layer above that of some higher, almost like musical sound. That's what he sounds like as a being. It's like all of these layers of sound as one sound, and it's amazing. And then what else did I ask him? Oh my God. And then I asked him, this is the biggest one. Oh my God. Then I asked him, this is all in case you're joining, this is me talking to Archangel Michael. Then I asked Archangel Michael last night as he was standing beside my bed. I'm like, okay, so I've asked you, what do you look like? He says, I am light. I've asked you what color you are. He says, I am all colors. You can only perceive the ones I am as blue, and that's okay. Asked him what he sounded like, and it was all those layers of sound. And then I asked him, who are you really? Like, really, who are you really? And he said, just this blew my mind. He said, I am the right hand of God. Now, I am not someone to use the term God. Like, that's really not my vibe. Like, so it's not my vibe. Okay. So I was just like, what? Sorry. Like, I knew I didn't make that up. It came in so clairaudiently. He says, I am the right hand of God. And I was like, kind of like digesting that for a second. And then I was like, what does that mean? And he says, If a soul calls me, I go. If a soul needs me, no matter how deep or dark the dimension that they are in, the place that they are in, no matter how far away, no matter where they are, as soon as they have that self-awareness enough to call on me, I am right there. I am the right hand of God. I am the protector of souls. I gather the souls that need to be brought home. And it just had like he was saying this, and it felt like my heart was cracking open. Like it's not what I expected him to say. And again, like I said, it's really just not even my vibe, right? To even like the whole God thing. But it was so beautiful. And so he just said, I am the right hand of God, and I go where the souls need me, and whatever they need, I am right there. And then let me just see, was there anything else that I said? Oh, and then, okay, so for me, I always call God Baba, right? Like to me, God is like the grandmother and the grandfather spirit. It is all things. It is Baba. And so he said he was the right hand of God. And I was like, kind of wondering, like, how does that connect with what I understand Baba to be? And he said, I have always been Baba. So he's always been God. He's always been this piece of God. It's like a more active energy or more active piece of God that moves forward when people need it, when people need him. So he is a piece of God. He's like the hand of God, but he's this active energy. And I think maybe a lot of people call that the Holy Spirit, which is like, so again, you guys, I'm not religious at all. This is super not my vibe, but it was just like undeniable what he was talking about. And so, yeah, it was just really, really beautiful. And I just thought that hearing that what the true form of Archangel Michael was just so gorgeous. Somebody saying, I feel God is a human word. And yet this being, I mean, that's the word that he used. He could have said anything, right? So I do think there's huge power to that word. And it was just really beautiful. And I just wanted to say, like, I'm so grateful to have relationships with these higher dimensional beings, with my own guides, with my higher self, with angels, with Baba, and to be learning so much on this journey about who they really are and how they work with us and how they help us. And it's so beautiful. And I owe all of that to like learning to speak the language of the clairs and learning to channel. And that is what has given me such a rich and beautiful life. And these experiences, I wouldn't change a thing about, even though it's difficult to have those gifts come online at such an early age, especially when you are in a very religious household, I wouldn't change a thing, because it's been like so monumental for me, so beautiful for me to come into my own with these gifts and then develop a training program, Psychic Light, to really help people to activate, understand, discover, and then master and train in these gifts themselves. So if anybody out there is wanting to be able to do stuff like this, to speak to these beautiful beings, to enrich your life with this kind of energy, to be able to hear, see, feel, and know what they are trying to communicate with you, to call on them, to know that they are there, like, I just really encourage you to check out Psychic Light. We start on Wednesday. The link is in my bio. This is an incredible course where I teach people to channel on a professional level using all of the clairs. And of course, there's a lot more involved in the course than that, but it is certified as well. So if you're looking to be certified in these gifts and to go forward and use these gifts to be of service to others, to charge for these services, to create a spiritual business, this is a course for you. It's what got me started. And, I just haven't looked back since. So I just wanted to share this really incredible experience about Archangel Michael. It was truly so moving to me, and I'm so grateful that I got to have that experience. So anyway, I'm going to hop off, but that was all that I wanted to share. And there's somebody commenting like scriptures in here. That's cool. It's not really my vibe. But like I said, he's the one that Archangel Michael is one that said, I am the right hand of God, and that he is this active force that works on behalf of Baba. And it was just so beautiful. So anyway, I love you guys so much. I hope you're having a great day.